The builder tried to force our clients to close on a brand new home that didn't even have a primary shower door installed. Not a scratch on the glass, an entire piece of glass completely missing, and the site superintendent looked at my buyers and said, "You have to close on this home anyways, or you're going to be charged a daily penalty for every day you delay." Well, we were not having that. My clients didn't close. It took 2 full months for that shower glass door to arrive. And because we knew how to stand our ground, my clients were protected from moving into an active construction zone. If you're shopping new construction in Surprise, Arizona, or anywhere in the West Valley, right now builders are dangling $25,000 in flex cash, aggressive interest rate buy downs, and closing cost credits. It looks like the best time to buy, but the builder's contract you signed to get those incentives runs 30 plus pages. It was written entirely by their attorneys, and there is virtually nothing in that protects you. I'm Kasandra Chavez with the Chavez Dream Home Team. I'm an Arizona native. I've personally bought 3 new construction homes myself, and today I'm giving you the honest insider guide to buying a new build. Stick around for point number 3 because I'm going to share a true story about a home buyer who skipped a crucial inspection step, turned on their brand new bathtub, and flooded their house, and why having an outside backup lender can save you earnest money when things go sideways. But first, we need to talk about the #1 trap buyers fall into the moment they fall in love with a model home: the builder's contract. When you buy a resale home in Arizona, we use a standard state-approved contract designed to protect both the buyer and the seller equally. But when you buy a new build, you're signing the builder's proprietary contract, and that contract is written 100% to protect their bottom line, not yours. The first thing you need to know is that your earnest money is virtually never refundable. On a resale home, you have contingencies to get your deposit back. With a builder, once you sign that paperwork, that money belongs to them. Second, builder contracts protect their timelines while penalizing yours. If they are delayed by 4 months because of supply chain issues, you just have to wait. But the contract plainly states that minor incomplete items cannot hold up your closing. If you refuse to close, they can charge you a daily financial penalty. But you do have rights, and having an advocate in your corner who knows those rights can save you thousands of dollars. Going back to my clients with the missing shower door, the superintendent insisted they had to close because the city had issued a certificate of occupancy. But in my view, delivering a home where you can't even use your primary shower is completely unacceptable. I contacted corporate management, site leadership, and sales directors and firmly pushed back. They tried to promise the glass would be in within a week, but my clients held off. It ended up taking 2 additional months because we understood how to navigate the builder. My clients were protected and not penalized monetarily. The next reality check is the price. Nobody actually pays the base price you see advertised on the signs outside of the community. There are 3 major costs that hit you before you close. #1 is the lot premium. The base price usually includes the smallest, most basic lot in the neighborhood if they're going to include one at all. If you want a larger lot, a corner lot, or a lot with a view, you're going to pay extra. Right here in Surprise, lot premiums can range anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. #2 is the design center. This is where things can get tricky. A lot of buyers sign their contract based on a specific monthly payment they want, and they do this before they step foot into the design center. But upgrades have wildly different price tags depending on the builder. If you want to know what 42-inch cabinets and upgraded countertops are going to cost you, you need to know what those finishes cost in that specific community before you sign. Otherwise, your monthly payment skyrockets, or worse, you over-improve the home beyond what the appraiser says it's worth. And if that happens, you have to cover that appraisal gap in cash out of pocket. #3 is the dirt backyard tax. This is the biggest oversight I see. Buyers get so caught up in the excitement of the structural options and model home sparkle that the backyard gets completely forgotten. Builders do not landscape your backyard. You get raw dirt. You need to mentally factor in that real cost of $15,000 to $30,000 out of pocket after closing just for pavers and artificial turf and a basic setup. And if you want a pool, you can add another $60,000 to $100,000 in that. Now, on rare occasions, the builders do allow us to negotiate in a backyard, but some builders shy away from any kind of backyard landscaping at all. If having this kind of clarity is helping you plan your move, hit the subscribe button right now. We put out deep dive West Valley real estate guides just like this every single week. Understanding your budget is crucial, but physically protecting your investment is just as important. There's a dangerous myth out there that it's a brand new home, so I don't need to pay for an inspection. I even had a client tell me one time, I know what it takes to build a house. I don't want to spend the money on a third-party inspection. Builders will reassure you that the city inspectors check everything. That is false. City inspectors only check for minimum safety codes. They do not check for quality of workmanship. Whenever we help buyers with new construction in Surprise or anywhere in the West Valley, we always recommend a 4-phase independent inspection strategy. Phase 1 is the foundation inspection. This ensures your concrete slab is poured and set up properly before framing begins. Phase 2 is the pre-drywall inspection, and this happens right before the sheetrock goes up. It's your only chance to catch the cut trusses, missing insulation, or crushed air conditioning ducts while they are still exposed. And then there's phase 3, and that's the pre-closing blue tape walkthrough to catch cosmetic defects and unfinished items. Phase 4 is the 11-month warranty inspection. You hire an inspector right before your 1-year builder warranty expires to catch every settling crack or nail pop, and we hold the builder accountable to fix it under the warranty. Now, a quick reality check on construction. Homes are built to the registrar contractor standards, which allows for small variances. Perfection isn't possible, but if an inspection catches a major defect as your realtor, I push aggressively to have it corrected before you take the keys. And here's why this matters. A home buyer I know chose to skip their third-party inspection because everything looked beautiful on the surface. But right after they moved in, they went to fill up their bathtub and discovered the plumbers never actually connected the drain lines underneath. Water poured through the floors and walls and caused massive structural damage to their brand new home. The builder eventually fixed it, but the absolute nightmare it caused and the disruption to the family life could have been completely avoided with a pre-closing inspection. And something like that, we always push the builder to not close until those things are fixed and verified that they're up and running like they should be. You can do all the inspections in the world, but if your financing falls apart at the last minute, that is one domino that affects a whole slew of other dominoes because remember, you were planning a move. Builders offer those massive incentives like closing cost credits only if you use their preferred lender. But here's a strategy I use to protect my clients. Apply with the builder's lender first before you sign the contract and give up the earnest money. Applying upfront ensures that you know exactly what interest rate and monthly payment you're going to get before you commit to that deposit. The advertised interest rate does come with some criteria that you must qualify for. And what you never want to do is sign on the dotted line for that home, apply, not get the interest rate and the payment you are planning on, but yet still qualify, because that's when you can lose your earnest deposit, because technically you still qualify for the house, but you might not like the payment that they're going to hold you to. In addition to that, I always have my clients get pre-qualified with a trusted outside lender as a backup. I had a client go under contract on a new build who qualified easily with the builder's lender, but just 2 weeks before closing, after she had already given her notice to her landlord, she got word from the builder's lender that her loan was suddenly denied, and she was terrified. This was nothing of her doing, and you can imagine the stress that it caused. Luckily, because we had her pre-qualified with our outside backup lender from day one, We didn't panic. The backup lender stepped in, took over the file, and closed the loan on time. And because the builder's preferred lender made an error in the first place, we advocated for our client to get the builder to honor the closing cost credit anyways. And they did. Having an advocate on your side can literally save you thousands of dollars. So how do you actually get the best deal on a new build? It comes down to timing and inventory. If you build from dirt, you have very little room to negotiate base price. But if you buy a spec home, a home the builder has already completed that is sitting empty, you have massive leverage. Builders discount the most when approaching the end of the fiscal year, especially if they haven't met their sales goals. And that is when we see the biggest price cuts and rate buy downs. Now, hearing all of this might have you feeling a little overwhelmed, but here is how representation works. In most new build communities, the builder offers to pay my compensation. We put those terms in writing before we tour so you get full representation, negotiation, strategy, and protection. However, most builders require that I register you as your agent on the very first visit to the model office. So if you register without an agent, they will often refuse to pay for my representation later. So before you tour any models, give me a call first. I've purchased 3 new construction homes myself, and I'll be honest with you, no home is built 100% to perfection. But knowing that I'm the very first person to live in the home with fresh finishes and a full warranty, to me is worth the process. I know that that's my personal feeling and it may not be yours, but the purpose of this video is to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed and disregard new construction homes entirely because of all the things that you have to keep in mind. That's part of my job. I manage the process for you and I make sure that you are protected. If you're considering a new construction home, I help you navigate this. I create a custom new construction community guide for my clients. It breaks down active builders in Surprise and the West Valley, current incentive programs, and move-in ready spec inventory tailored to your price point. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what is the #1 feature you are most excited about in a brand new home. And if you are thinking that brand new homes are not for you and you would much rather go with a resale, let me know that too. If you're ready to start exploring new builds, click the link in the description below to book a strategy session with me today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on the next one.